So nice to be here with you guys and from this side. This is fun. And when I started looking to do this presentation, which Barry had asked me to do after I introduced him to Canva, I was playing with how to present it, and I'll show you in a bit what I had initially come up with. And then I thought, what is it about this? And I thought, you know, I've been seeing all of these graphics, and by graphics I mean pictures or images, often on Facebook posts and other places, that I thought were really cool. You know how they take a picture and they lay type over it, and you know, you can put quotes or you can draw attention to things. And I thought, man, that's really neat. And I wanted to be able to do it. And I thought, well, you know, it's a great way to spice things up. So that's how I came up with the title. And so that's what I'm going to show you, is how to actually use this program, or as we know, programs are now also being viewed as apps. So it's a program if it's on your computer, it's an app if it's on your mobile device, and that can be a tablet or your phone. And as Barry said, it works equally well on Apple and Android, so you can access it anywhere. And the nice thing is you sign into it, so once you've signed into it, it's available. So if you're working on something on your desktop and you want to start working on it on your phone, when you sign in, it's just the way you left it on your desktop, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to actually walk you through a presentation that I created on Canva, and I'm actually playing it through Canva, which I thought was an amazing feature. I didn't even know it could do that until I began playing with it this time. So rather than creating the images, moving them over into a PowerPoint presentation and doing it that way, I'm actually playing it within the Canva program itself. And when I come out of the presentation, I'll show you what that means. I mean, it's very, very simple. So I'm going to sit down now so I can actually play at the machine here. Oops, sorry, pardon my heavy breathing. Okay, so, all right, here's what we're going to cover today. And can everybody see okay, first of all? Anybody who's having trouble? And can everybody hear me okay? Anybody who can't? Okay, great. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the kinds of things Canva can do, and I'm going to then show you about 10-minute video that's really, really good of somebody walking through the creation of a particular graphic presentation, just a single slide, so that you can see kind of a once-over. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to walk through a demo within the software itself. So I'm now road testing it in front of you and show you, you know, everything that I'm doing and explain it all as I go. And I'm going to go over some of the key terms that are used in the features within Canva so that you know what you're seeing and how to use it. So both the key terms and the features. And then, as I said, I'm going to actually walk through creating a presentation. And so, first of all, Canva is free, which is very cool. And it's incredibly robust. So it can do a lot of things. And as I mentioned, it's available on each of the platforms. It requires that you create an account, like many of the software programs. And you can sign into it, like is becoming more and more common, using either a Facebook account, an email account, or you can email, I'm not sure if it's just Gmail, but email, or you can just sign in plain, you know, if you don't have either of those accounts. But because There are so many people now using Canva to create social media posts and cover photos and all kinds of things. They want to make it as transparent and easy to move from Canva to Facebook. So, you know, you can immediately do that. So if you're, well, I'll show you in a minute the kinds of things you can create. It's reasonably simple. I mean, there's lots of features and there's lots of things that you can do. And so because there are so many things, if you don't start out simple, you could get a little overwhelmed, but you can use it on the simple level, or you can use it on the really proficient level as you get much better. I'm not a graphic designer. I've got sort of a so-so graphic sense, but as you can see, I created all of this, and I'm going to show you how I did it. And I've already said about the same basic operations across all platforms. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at this video that I mentioned to you, and so now you're going to see how I'm going to come out of the program. So I go down here, I'm going to click to take us out of the display. Now what you see in front of you here is Canva itself, which I'm going to come back to and show you things about creating the images. But before that, I'm going to go up here to this tab. Can everybody see the tab? Yeah. So that's a YouTube tab with the Canva presentation. And I'm actually going to start the presentation.
Hey everybody, this is Mark from PCClassesOnline.com. I am super excited about today's class because I get to tell you about one of my favorite websites ever. It's called Canva.com. And I know a lot of you out there need to create graphics all the time. You need to create graphics for things like an upcoming event. Maybe you need to make a poster. Maybe you need to make an image for your website. Or maybe you need to just make a picture to post on Facebook for something. But either you don't have something like Photoshop because it's too expensive or too complicated, or maybe you just need to get done faster and easier than that. Canva is a great option for you. I think you're going to really like it. So today, I'm going to teach you how to make a slide or an image for a family campout for a church, just to use it as an example. And as we walk through making it real quick, you're going to learn how easy it is to use Canva. So let's just jump right into it. The very first thing that you want to do is you want to go to Canva.com, and when you get there, it's going to ask you to make an account. So go ahead and do that. And after you get done making your account, then it gives you the option here at the top to create a design. Now what it wants to do is it wants to find out what kind of design you're trying to create, and then it's going to set up your canvas or your workspace in the right pixel dimensions for whatever you're trying to make. For example, if you're trying to make a social media item, it's probably going to be 800 by 600, or maybe if you want to make a slide presentation, it's going to be 1024 by 768, and so on. So there's a poster and Facebook cover and Facebook post, Instagram. But just in case you think that there's only 6, check this out. Click More, and there are all kinds of other options for you to choose. US letter and presentation and letterhead and posters and food and drink menus, business cards, YouTube channel art, and on and on and on. So you can pick something that they've already made or they've already set up for you to get a really great start on it. However, today, what we're going to do is we're going to create a slide for a projector in a church auditorium, and we already know that that's going to be a specific pixel size. So we're going to go up here, we're going to click this right here, Use Custom Dimensions. And we're going to type in the pixels, width, and height that I need. Now, I want to stop here for just a second because a lot of people that I work with need to create images for their website, maybe for a slider or a header image. This is where you would go to type in the dimensions that you need to use that's specific for your website. So when you come here, click on Use Custom Dimensions and type in those pixel dimensions here. In this case, I'm going to do 1920 by 1080, and I'm going to click Design. And then it's going to open up a canvas for me to start working on. So we're just going to start right here. So
Okay.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink down the canvas just a little bit on the zoom level so I can see a little more of it. Down here in the bottom left corner, you can click this minus or plus so that you can see a little bit more of it. And the first thing I want to do is I want to add my background image. So what you do to add a background image is you go to either uploads if you want to upload a picture you already own, or you can search from their over 1 million images and you can use one of theirs and you can buy it from them. And their pictures are just $1 a piece, so it's going to be really hard to beat that anywhere. So for example, I'll stop for a second. Let's say you needed to do camping. Let's see if there's actually any good images here. I haven't tried. Let's see what comes up. So look at this. So you could use like this image right here. This one's free. So if you click on it, it's going to drop right into this area, and all you would do is drag the corners and make it fill your whole space. That's a great option. Or you can go through any one of these, and these are all $1 a piece. And when you use one of these, let's say you click on it, it's going to have this watermark on it, and that watermark is going to be there, but when you go to download it when you're all done, at that point you can buy whatever pictures you have chosen, and the watermark will not be there anymore. So that's how that works. But in this case, I'm going to go to uploads, and I'm going to use this picture that I've already uploaded, put it right here, and I'm going to grab these corners, I'm going to drag the corner out, and I'm going to see how big I want this. Let me just go a little bit past the edges here. I probably wanted something like, I don't know, something like that. Then I'll click off of it, and that's pretty good. I like that. Now I'm going to add some large text right up in here. I'm going to say family camp out right there. So what I would do next is go over to text, over here on the left, click text, and it gives me these three basic options, maybe a header, then a subtitle, and a little bit of body text. All that's doing is it's going to, when I click on it, it's going to throw some text over there in a pre-made size, but I can change everything about that text. It just is a quick way to get there. So I'm going to click add text, and as you see, it adds this text that's gray, and I'm not even sure what font that is, but we're going to change that in just a minute. So I'm going to drag it up here to this area where I'd like to put it. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to type family camp out. And I actually do want it on 2 lines, so I'm actually going to hit enter in between. That's good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color to white. So I'm going to select all of it and then go up here and click this little pick a color option. And you can either pick some pre-chosen colors here, or if you click the plus button, you can choose whatever color you want anywhere in here. Just find the color you want. And if you happen to know the color code, you can actually put in the color code there. In this case, I just want it white. So I'm going to go up here and click white. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to change the font, and I also want to center it, and I want to change the spacing between the 2 lines. So let's choose a different font. I think there's one in here, I think it's called Permanent Marker. So I'm going to go down to P and choose Permanent Marker. That's good. Then I want to make it larger, so I'm going to go up here to this font size, click here, and I'm going to choose something like, I don't know, maybe 80 perhaps. Oh, that might be a little big. Let's go down to 72. That's pretty good. I'm going to drag it over a little bit. And now I want to center it, so I'm going to hit this down arrow here. And I want to go, see right now it's on left, then there's center and right. I'm going to choose center. And then I want to make these 2 lines closer to each other. So I'm going to choose this option called text spacing. And then you can change the spacing between each letter, and you can also change the spacing between each line. So you see here, if I click and drag this, you're going to see that this is going to get closer together. I want it pretty close, so I'm going to do something like, I don't know, maybe there. That's good. And I will maybe drag it a little bit farther over here. That's great. Now I want to add the date and some other information underneath this. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click add subtitle text. And just like before, it added it in there. Now here's a little key. If you click away from the item, so it's not selected anymore, now you see the background is selected here. I'm going to click off of it. And then when nothing is selected, when I roll over this text, it turns into the 4-way arrow. Then I can drag it. You see that? If it's actually, let's say the background's selected like this and I try to drag the text, oh, it actually worked. Never mind. Sometimes it grabs the background and moves it instead. So just be careful what you're actually grabbing there. In that case, it worked great. Another little feature I love is when I'm dragging it over here, it automatically gives me that guideline, and it kind of pops to that guideline and shows me that it's centered below the text above, and that's really nice. So I'm going to edit this. I'm going to say, I don't know, June 5th through the 7th, 2015. I'll highlight all of that. I'm going to center it again. And then I'm also going to change the color and the font. Now for this particular one, I think there's one up here. I'm going to go all the way to the top, and I'm going to go use this one called Aleo. And then I want it a little bolder. So I'm going to go down here and see there's a bold option right here, and then italics, underline, and that kind of thing. I'm going to choose bold. Then I'm going to make it like a yellow. I'm going to try to kind of mimic one of the yellows in this tent over here. I'm not going to be really exact, but I'm going to kind of guess over there. So I'm going to click the little plus arrow here, and I'm going to find a yellow that might be in here. And that's good enough for now. And I'll click off of that. I want to make it a little bigger also, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose, we'll see how big, maybe something like 36, we'll see. Yeah, that's probably good. And we'll do it somewhere in there. And then I want to then do some more subtext. So there's two ways to do it. I can either go over here and add subtitle text again, or I can click on this one and then hit the down arrow here, and I'm going to go down here to copy. And that way, it'll already choose the same font that I'm already using, and it'll get me a little farther ahead. So I'm going to choose copy, and it puts another option, another copy of it out there. I'll drag it right below it. I'm going to double click on here. I'm going to change it back to white. And you guys can see where I'm going here. I'm going to change it to a light version, and I'm going to make it quite a bit smaller. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this bold like the other one, because I'm going to put the location here. You see it's already bolded. Okay, good. So I'm going to call it Mahogany Grove Group Site. That's where it's going to be located. I'm going to go down here maybe a little bit farther down. And then I'm going to copy this again. And I'll drag it below here. And I'm going to go ahead and speed up the rest of this to show you how I do the rest of it, so you don't have to watch it all in real time, but I think you'll pick up the little keys because I'm just doing the same thing over and over. All right, there's one more thing I want to show you here, and that's how to add a logo down here in the bottom left. Now, in this case, this is something important. I've uploaded the logo for this particular church already into my uploads area because it has a transparent background. So any item that has a transparent background, you'll be able to throw right on top of another image. Unfortunately, at this time, Canva cannot create a transparent background for you. So right now, you'll have to do that some other way. I've heard that that option is coming, but for now, it's not there, at least at the time of recording. So I'm going to go over to Uploads, and I'm going to grab this particular logo right here, and you see that it has a transparent background already. So I can just drag it right down here and resize it a little bit, and there we go. And that's pretty much done. So it looks great, and all I have to do now, by the way, you see that it's always saving my work at all times, so I don't have to even worry about that. But if I would like to download it, I go up here to the download button and click that. And then I have two options. Download as an image, which actually is a PNG in terms of the format. Unfortunately, you can't choose other items or other formats at this time. Maybe that'll be in the future, like a JPEG or something. But for now, you can download it as an image or a PNG. Sorry, I didn't actually mean to click that, but the other option is to download it as a PDF. So when you click that, it's preparing your design. And at that point, if you had used any pictures that you need to purchase, it would give you the option to purchase them. Then it automatically opens up to wherever I want to save it. I've actually done this before, so I'm going to call this Family Campout 3. and it has saved it for me, and I'm all done. If I'd like to share it on Facebook, I can post it directly from here, or tweet it out, or send it as an email to one of my friends. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you've enjoyed learning how to use Canva. I think it's great.
Okay. So let's get back out of this. And now I'm back. Let's get out of that. Yes. Okay. Bye. I'm going to go back to my presentation. Okay. So first of all, yeah, that's just, I wanted to see if there were questions, and I wanted to see what you thought of the presentation, and I'm going to, as I mentioned, I'm going to be walking through all of it again and showing you much more of the features live. But your question?
I was gonna say, I've enjoyed listening, so, for.
Pass the mic, please.
Okay, okay.
Hold on a second.
Get me my mic.
It's coming your way.
It's here.
Neither button does anything.
Or not.
I've enjoyed the presentation immensely.
Hold it up to your face.
Okay, my wife now is trying to write a short book on labeling for nutrition and so forth. Can this be used in that means? Because one of the things she has to get is some pictures and things like that.
Absolutely, yes. So she can create images, and so this one was done as a slide for a presentation, but as he showed at the beginning, where you could go through, and I'm going to show you again, you can pick all kinds of different images and sizes to be used in different ways, and then it can be saved. And now, he mentioned that it could only be saved as a PNG. It can now be saved as a JPEG also. And so she can save each of those images and drop them into any document that she's creating.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So one thing, PNG is portable network graphic. It's something you don't have to worry about like a JPEG where it pixelates. PNG does not pixelate when you resize it.
I have a question. If you would like to see this wonderful presentation again, do you go to YouTube and put in Canva?
Yes, and actually, I can't recall now if I don't think I made a slide that has the links, but I can certainly create that so that you've got it. And when you go to YouTube and put in Canva, you'll notice, as with many applications, there are tons of videos about doing all kinds of things with that program, with Canva. So some of them are better than others, but they cover a wide range of uses of it, and it's, as you can begin to see, it's such a powerful program and relatively easy. So, other questions? Okay, then I'm gonna go, yeah.
How do you, I don't know.
Here, it's coming behind you. You got it.
I don't know if it was shown, but I didn't see it. How do you put in the slides that you want to put in there?
That's one of the things I'm gonna show you.
Okay, I'm ahead of you.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, he did. He went to what he called his uploads. So he was actually using a picture that he already had. You can do that, or you can use pictures that Canva supplies for you. And I'll talk about where you get those kinds of things. He mentioned that there are ones that you buy are typically $1. The good news is, for many things that you would be doing, there are tons of free ones in Canva, and I'll show you that also. So, you don't, unless you see something that you just really go, oh my God, that's the perfect thing, I've got to have it. You don't really have to pay for anything. Yes, there's a...
Can you take a picture from, let's say, your iPhone or your iPad and put it into the presentation?
Absolutely, and that's one of the real beauties. So, any picture that you have, you can then save to a folder. So if you're on your iPhone, you can pick it up from your Photos folder, and you can upload it. So I'll show you it. And yes, so you can get a picture, whether it's a photo or any other kind of graphic, from anywhere. Anything else? Okay. So now.
Can you add music to that?
Not within Canva, because it's not designed for it, but if you created a PowerPoint, you can then add music to that.
What I'm thinking of, I have, I was taken on a trip to Washington DC,
Yes,
and by accident I found music, and it's in there. While I'm showing the slide presentation,
Yes.
music is running through it.
yes.
So if I imported that, would the music also come through?
Well, it's sounding like, is it a video, or is it, I mean, is it?
It's their slides.
Probably
Okay.
PowerPoint.
Okay, so yeah, you'd have to kind of go to the original file where you've got the pictures. So the quick answer is no. It's within this program, it's not going to do that. You can create other pictures and put them in the program that has the audio to it, or you can go somewhere else that will create an audio with pictures also, but Canva doesn't have audio capabilities that I'm aware of. Okay, anything else?
Go ahead.
Okay. Alrighty, so, let's video. Okay, so I don't know whether I'm gonna now this is an experiment now. I don't know whether this is going to go back to the first slide of the presentation, or whether it's gonna pick up the slide I want. Picked up the slide I wanted. Pretty cool.
Good.
Okay, so, as I mentioned, you can use your stuff or you can use theirs, and we're gonna look at that. And here are some of the various terms. I'm gonna come back and talk more about these, but templates are, when he was starting at the beginning and he said, there are all these kinds of things you can do. You can do Facebook posts and Twitter posts and posters and invitations. Each one of those is a template. And it's got a particular size, and then it's got pictures and everything designed to go along with it, and it will give you all kinds of choices based on that thing that you picked. And then I'll show you layouts, each of these other things are options within the program itself, and I'm going to show you each one of them as we go through. So layouts, you can pick different ways of having things positioned on the screen. Elements are objects like, circles and squares and things, and I'll show you how those work. Text you've already seen one way, and I'll show you some other ways. Text is one of the really key features because there's so many, not only fonts, but ways of displaying text. And this is a brilliant program for getting access to all kinds of things like that. Background is the color or the image in the background, and you can change it in all kinds of ways. You saw him talk about uploading, which is what gives you access to things you already have, and then downloading, which is how you then save it. Filters let you change the way you see an image, and again, I'll show you that. Search is what you do when you're looking for a particular kind of picture or image, and I'll show you a range, and you saw transparency. So we're gonna look at some examples, and we're gonna start with building pages. And so these are a couple of the things. So when I was looking for the page that you saw as the title page, and I'm going to come back and show you how I built that page, I started with, when I started thinking about spices, it's like, oh, I wonder what's out there as spices. And so I typed spice into the search bar, and I came up with, can I have the pointer, please? Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so I came up with all of these and many more examples of things that were spice oriented that they had, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And then I had some images of my own that I had found in various places, and these are some of them, and I'll show you how you add those in. So I knew there were plenty of choices, so it's like, okay, which one seems to fit best for this, and how do I want to do it? So here's the original slide, and I'm going to take you through the process of actually creating that. And I'm going to show you how to pick an image, how to flip it, and you can flip it top to bottom, side to side. You saw how he resized it on what he called canvas, which I think may be, it's kind of the blank screen you start with. I think that may be where the name came from. I intended to Google it to see, but like someone had asked about, are you sure you don't mean canvas? It's like, no, the name's Canva, but it probably relates to the canvas. Yes. And then I'm gonna show you how, whoops. No, that wasn't what I meant to do. How do I get out?
Menu.
Exit, okay. There we go. Just kidding. And then I'm gonna show you how to add text for the title and the footer and the feature that I had added, and then how to put in another image, because the things that you can do are just endless. And I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as I can so you can get the power of it and the process of it, and not overwhelm you. Okay, do you have a question? No. Okay, so here is the original slide. And you can see it's upside down from what I ended up with. So I'm gonna now get out of the program, and I'm gonna show you. Okay, so let's see. There are the slides, and that's the original title slide, and this is the next slide, and this is the beginning of that. And so, and you can see, so it's already been, so I flipped it side to side, and I actually flipped it top to bottom. So let's see here. No, it wasn't a range.
It's the button on the bottom, isn't it? Bottom of the image?
No, it's not. And, there we go, it's right here. Can you see where my,
Yes.
okay. So I can flip it horizontally, and I can flip it vertically. And now I want to go back to where I had it. Okay, so that is the flipping, but I actually, what I want to do is I want to take this one, actually, I'm gonna, so off to the side here, can you see these?
Yeah.
This tells you that, first of all, the sequence of the images, and you can move images up or down. That makes a difference when you finally are finished. and if you wanna keep the whole thing together in the order that you want, you can have them in that order. And then you can copy any image that you've got if you wanna do more work on it. So I'm going to copy that. And see now there's a copy right below. And I'm going to take this out. And so you know how he was talking about how you have to make sure that you grabbed it. And of course it's not behaving, let's see. Come on, give it to me.
Did you click and drag that?
Well, no, you just wanna. I have no idea why that's doing
You said to
that.
put it on the white part, didn't it, Karen?
Well, I'm gonna take the whole thing out. Okay, so that took out the background image, we still got text here. I'm sorry? This was not the best way to do this, sorry, that wasn't what I was intending to do initially. Okay, so let's just, pardon my messiness with this. What I wanna show you. And I'm running somebody else's computer here, so I'm unfamiliar. Not working, sorry about that, I don't know why. Okay, so I'm gonna come back up, I'm gonna take that out.
But if you just hit delete.
Well, that's what I'm doing, there we go, okay. It just wasn't grabbing it. That's why the whole, he was saying about how you need to make sure it's grabbed it. And so what you had seen was a 3-layer thing. So there was the circle, and then there was the text, and the text was in sections. So each of those pieces were individual pieces, and that's why I was having trouble getting rid of it. Okay, so let's go back to, you'd asked how I got the picture. So here are my own images, and this is the picture that I had originally, that was a picture that I actually made in case I needed to put that in there. Sorry, that wasn't what I was looking for. So you can see the different images that I had of my own that I could have picked. Here's the one that I did pick, and you can see it puts it on the canvas. You can then stretch it. You can stretch it, as much as you want. You can stretch it beyond the canvas if you only want a particular section of it. You can move it around. So on one of the later slides, you'll see at the end, I didn't want that book in there anymore, so I actually stretched it. So I had, and you can see it's going up higher now. Again, you don't need to watch me futz with it, but you can see it takes a little bit to be positioning things and stuff, but it's not that difficult, and you can get the hang of it pretty quickly. So you can position it, you can focus in on certain things, you can put that image anywhere you want, and I'm gonna take it out now. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back and show you, so here's the search bar up here. And so if I put spice, here's all kinds of spice things, and it goes on for quite a distance, and you can see many of them are free, some of them are paid. So that's the first thing. And actually, so I wanted to show you also, I'm gonna go back. Is everybody with me? Am I confusing you by
No,
going?
you're not confused.
Okay. So I wanna go back to, upload here, because somebody had asked me, how do you get your own images? So if I click upload your own image, it's going to take me, now this is Barry's folder, so let me go to my folder. Which
Carver Pix is down.
I'm sorry?
Three up and
Further down is Carver Pix.
Yes, thank you. No, that's his. Sorry, just kidding. Mine is, this one, I think, yes. Okay, so this is my file that I brought over on a stick, just like it were on my own computer. I'm clicking there. Here's all the images that I had, that I had loaded on. I actually have a ton of images on my computer of all kinds of things. I could have picked anything. And so I could pick any one of them and do that. And it now, very quickly, as you can see, uploads the image. And now all of these images that I've uploaded at any time will stay here. So they can be picked to be used in any presentations that you want. Any questions about that? Okay.
Question, very
Yes.
quick one.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we had a class on Google with the pictures. Would that be a good place to put all your pictures on Google? The Google Cloud.
Yeah, and you can take your pictures from that. So if you've uploaded all of your pictures to Google Drive, instead of going to the folder that I went to, you would go to Google Drive and your photo folder there, and that would give you all of those photos. So wherever it is that you've got them stored, you can access it on that device by doing upload. But the other thing that I thought you might have been asking is that one of the other places that you can get photos, and I'm just gonna take, how am I doing time-wise? Okay, good. I'm just going to do, actually I'm gonna do,
Yes.
spices. Except, they're using Yahoo as your driver, I can't believe that. Okay. Sorry, folks. Who would think that he would be using Yahoo as his search engine? All right, so Google.
Google Photos. maybe.
No, that's not what I'm doing, but thank you. So, in terms of other sources of images, so this is one of the things that I do a lot, is I look for images that I'll either use if they're free or if I can easily get them, or just to get ideas. And so I've typed in spices. You can see this link right here that says images under the toolbar. Here you have tons and tons and tons of images. And if you click on any one of them, you can see the image, you can see who owns it, and what it takes to get it. So these are all sources. And now you're not supposed to know that I did this, but if you right click on that image and you go up to save image as, you can save that image as Spice from Google or whatever you want to call it. And now I've got that image also. So any image is available to you potentially, which is huge. So, okay, enough of that. All right. Sorry, I'm a little slower here because I'm not as used to his thing. Okay, so I said I was going to flip it, I was going to pick the image, we did, yes. What? Oh, okay, sorry. And so then I was saying that we'll put text in there. So now if you notice, I mentioned to you that there are features that are within Canva, so you can see down the left-hand side here, these are all the features of things you can do. So text is down here, and you can see here are the 3 levels of text that you saw him work with. I could pick one of those, or I could go down here and I can pick, if I say, if I'm creating something and I go, well, I really like that particular typeface, the one that's here, or this one, and I like the way this is laid out, and I want to use that either on an initial slide or to put it in here. I could pick one of those, but right now I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm going to pick, I think I used, we'll take a heading. Okay, so I picked that. You see how it came over here, and let's just say I want to call it Cooking with Carol. And so obviously it's white, which is not the best, because it's going to go on a white background. There we go. And so now, if I come up here, here's that color wheel that I can use. And if I go over there, there are various shades of white. Oh, I don't want white though, I want black. Or I actually might want red. His colors are not as that's good. Okay, this is one of the differences of working on somebody else's computer. Okay. So you can see, not the prettiest color, but, and again, so that, I can then move it over here. I'm not gonna, can you tolerate my imperfections? I'm not.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, so now if I click on that, you see here, you see this rotate arrow right there? That lets me rotate it, and that's how I got it the way I wanted it. I sized it, I changed the font, and I don't remember what I used, and I changed the size. And again, I would futz with it, but you get the idea. That I didn't even pick up the L there, but I can go back, capture the L, change the color, and again, so now you can see that's what I had used. So I had switched the orientation, so the book faced the other way. I put the text in there and added it, and then I decided I wanted to add that circle that I then put the image in. So now I'm going to go over here to elements. And so on this template, this is a template for a presentation, there are all these different kinds of elements. And in this case, I wanted shapes. Now you can see I could spend all day showing you all the variations here. Not going to bother. So now down here, we've got all these different shapes, and they start in this color, but you can again change the color. And so in this case, I took a circle, just a plain circle. Thank you. And I resized it, and I moved it up, and let's see, wait a second. It's a little hard to see. That's actually the color right here, because it's white on a white background, you can hardly see it. But, so now, and these colors are very ugly, sorry about that. Okay, I would fix that color obviously, but so now I've got the start of a color. I went back and found the image and put the image on top of it, and then I created new text down here that again, was this. So I found that image, I laid it on top of it, I changed the transparency a little. So we go up here, you can see there's that image on top. And here's the transparency. You can make it more or less, so it's gonna disappear or not. And you can arrange it so that it's either on top of the circle or behind the circle. Again, this is probably more than you care about right now.
One thing,
Yes,
the video that you saw in the beginning mentioned that there was no transparency, that was a feature that was gonna be added. So this version has the updated
No,
transparency feature.
It wasn't, that wasn't what it was that it wouldn't, he had an original that was transparent, and it wouldn't save his original in the transparent format. That's what it was, and it may do that now, I don't know. Okay, so, any questions? And I did the same thing then to create the text down here. I picked a text amount, I put it in, I picked a font, I changed it, I centered it, yes,
Carol, I got lost.
okay.
Could you, in a couple of minutes, explain me the sequencing of doing the Canva? You open first the Canva, and then you take a picture and you put in a Canva, or vice versa, and so on.
Okay.
Start from zero.
Okay,
Just the first 3-4 steps.
okay,
Okay.
So, okay.
Which one you start? Canva or a Google photo or whatever?
okay. So I'm just gonna step back, I'll do this quickly from the beginning. So what I'm gonna do is, find one that I can easily take it away from. All right, what I want is a blank.
To insert new slide, maybe?
Yeah, that's where I'm looking, where is it? Why can't I find?
Shut up the PC and start from zero.
No,
please.
that's okay. It's,
Because that
here,
I
wait.
don't understand.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. Yes, so it has been, and you can see that there are some unsafe things, but I don't care about that right now. And the display here, he was on a Mac, I think, so the display and positioning of things is a little bit different. Up here you can see this is where it would show that it was saving. Right now it says there are some unsaved features, so that was the last thing I just did. I don't care. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. So this is the start. I'm already signed in, so I'm not gonna go back to the sign-in part, but this is the beginning. This is what you would first see, and you see each of the different types of presentations. And so, I had picked, and as he mentioned, there are more. I had picked a presentation. Here's presentation.
It should be a blank.
I'm sorry,
I think there's a blank somewhere.
that's all right.
Yeah.
So I picked presentation, and what you're going to get is a blank canvas. So that's where I started. And then I decided to build that by putting in certain images. And so I went to,
Carol,
yes,
I don't want to put images
What?
which they give me. I want mine.
right,
So take one picture of your family or your
Right.
personal face
right.
and work around your face.
Yes,
So
so
on.
what you're going to do, you see down at the bottom here where it says uploads,
Okay,
you're going to go to that. And so you're either going to, like I walked you through how you upload from one of your own files, do you remember that? So if you uploaded an image, it would then be down here in this image, and you could pick any one. So here's one that I particularly like.
Okay.
So there's an image. This one already has text built in it. I could potentially put things over it if I wanted. I could stretch it. I could move it so that I don't have that. If I wanted just the little child, I could add all of the text and other things. Are you with me so far? Are you now back on track?
So far I understand.
Okay.
What I did not understand is how did you upload from your Google photo on Canva?
Okay, so I'll show you that again. And I'm sorry, I had actually intended to go back to that original screen and do just what you asked, and I got caught as I walked through my own presentation. So bad on me. Okay, so I clicked upload. It took me to my computer and my file where I have my pictures, so this would be your Google account or whatever. I found whatever picture I wanted. So here's one that I took the spicing thing out, and because I wanted the picture of the woman.
Okay.
So I now click that and it comes over. And I brought that picture down, but you can see there's a whole bunch of other stuff I didn't want, so I cropped that stuff out. There's a crop feature, and I took just the image, and that's how I put it in the circle. Okay, you good? Okay.
Now I understand.
Okay, great, thank you for asking. Any other questions? Yes?
Mike?
Typically, when you insert text in a PowerPoint presentation, it is always in a rectangular shape or a box.
Right.
And I could never find an option that would allow a wraparound text around an imported image.
Yes.
Does this have that feature?
So when you say a wraparound,
Yeah, the text would not just be formatted in a square or a
Right.
geometric shape, which
Right.
it typically is.
right,
But if you, let's say you import a vase and you didn't want such boxy text around it, but
Right.
you wanted the text to do a wrap around, like this, around the image.
Right.
And
It's-
I could never find that on any
Yes.
Apple product.
I know
PowerPoint.
you can bring the text forward or back. You can tilt it, like I showed you by rotating. I don't know whether there is a way to, to curve it around.
Like a banner, you mean?
Well, there is, you can take a shape and you can do a banner. So if we go to elements and shapes, and I'm still pretty new to this too, so I do not know by any means all of the features. So you can see there are tons of shapes here of various kinds, and there are ones that look like banners. So, that's another thing you could do.
I know
You
the
say
program
something, Barry?
the program has extensive help on it. If you go to get help, there
Yes,
is an item
yes.
there. It will show you step by step, and if not, there's tons of YouTube videos on this. They're bound to hit it.
Yes, yeah, and you can see, here's some of the various other kinds of elements that you can use. So one of those might do it, I don't know. And I don't know whether if you do layouts, it's not doing it here. Okay, so I'm not gonna try to show you anything else. What I am gonna show you is that for each form, each template that you take, like this is one for a presentation, being PowerPoint size, that's what they're calling a presentation. So what you see down the second left column are all kinds of presentations that you could pick from. And if you picked one, you said, oh wow, I like that type, I'd like to play with that. What you're gonna then get are down below, I'm just gonna do this quickly because this is more than you're gonna want, probably. Oh, I see what actually. page. Okay. So it's gonna give you all kinds of ways of, or pages that would fit appropriately in that presentation, that already have preset type, and so, you know, you can pick and choose, and then again, you go, well, you know what, I don't like that image. There it goes. Oh, here's the background layout. That's what I was looking for. Anyway, so you can change fonts, you can move things from page to page. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. So I'm not gonna go further with any of that. Let me go back. Yes, Barry?
5 minutes to wrap.
Oh, thank you. Okay. And let me go back to here. Okay. Okay, that was one that I started with initially when I said, you know, and then I got the spice idea. That was very simple. I just took a picture, slapped some text on it. And then I wanted things like being able to show questions and have something cute. And so I found this form and put text in it. This is what it started out like initially. And I thought this was neat that you could actually put shapes and things and you could add text on top of that. And I took one of the stars and threw that image in. I liked the peppers as accent. And then I showed you, you know, this, because this is one of the kinds of things that I love. I think being able to create images like this, you know, this is one for my socks and insole business, you know, where it says, so tell me more about this wearable tech, neurotech. And, you know, this is one of what's your heart's desire. And you know, you can do anything. And so, any last questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you use this to create greeting cards?
Yes. Yes, you could create any kind of image that you want. So I didn't actually walk through the process of how you download. You saw him download earlier. You can see up here, here's the download option, and you can also see that there is this order prints. So you have the capability to print final camera-ready copy in various ways if you want. You could download either an individual image or the whole presentation to a PDF, and you could take or a JPEG or a PNG, depending on what works best for you, and you could use that, you know, to lay out a greeting card or whatever, and then print it as you like. So you can save these for yourself to be used in other ways. So I want to do one more thing here.
If you want to have that, like the 2 red peppers as a logo, and you
Yes.
want to tuck it down in, say,
Yes.
the left corner of
Yes.
every slide,
Yes.
and it's a $1 purchase, do you pay for the logo or the picture just once, or every time you copy it onto another page?
I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry, which on this one?
My guess is you pay for it in the upload, you know, the one time in the one upload, but I don't know that for sure. So far, I haven't bought anything from them. I've been able to find, you know, so many things that were free. So this is that final slide that I mentioned to you that I created, and I want to thank you. That's my contact information. Any last questions?
Let's thank Carol for a great presentation here.